Good evening to all of you. As you all are aware that we have started a new series called as a Market Byte that will give you information about the markets every week on the Friday 9 p.m. sharp. Now, we in this series, what we are going to do, as we have mentioned in the last video, that we are going to provide you information about the markets, what happened in the last week, entirely last week. So we'll be telling you about what happened in the market, in the stock market last week. So we'll tell you about everything what is going in the market, what's going in the market. So all the information brief about the upcoming the market on the micro and result updation of the what's going with the particular company. So we will see about the census performance. We'll see about the company performance in this week. In this week, what's happening across. That's what we're going to do about. Now, why we have started this particular series? As you are aware, that we have started this particular series for the fact that you, as you are aware, that we India is one of the best country, is one of the is the country on which the is having the one of the lowest participation in the stock market, in the capital market. Now, if you see the, as we have said again and again, we see that India's participation from the retail participation is only 2% of the total population which they of the world. But if you compare about the other countries in the world, as you see other countries in the world, if you see that, for example, United States of America, China is having the population almost as compared to India, but having the participation ratio of almost about 12%, whereas America having the population of 35 crores is having the participation of almost about 18%. But India is having only 2% population of participation from the retail people. We want to educate the people on this particular fact, that how they can understand the market and how they can participate in a very active way in the market. Now, if you see, let us see about what happens in this particular week. Now, if you analyze the Sensex and Nifty both remain on a flat level. There were a few ups and dips in between, 1 or 2 day. But again, the market reached on the Friday, at the end of the week on Friday today. The market again regained and reached to its original level where it started at the beginning of the week. Now, the Sensex almost reached about, we are aware, the Sensex was hovering about 37,947.50 points, almost about, it was in that range. But in between, on 13th August, the Sensex fell almost by 400 points. But later in the day, the Sensex again rose and touched the point, close almost about 37,947. Same was the case with the Nifty. The Nifty was having that started its weeks almost 11,470 roughly around. But again, in between, it had a dip of 100 points and it touched about 11,370 roughly around. But later at the end of the week, it again rose by almost 100 points, and the Nifty again closed very weak. So if you see overall scenario this week, the market remained very, Sensex and Nifty both remained flat. There was not much of the rise or fall between both the indices, Bombay Stock and Index, that's called the Sensex, and the National Stock Exchange Index, that is the Nifty. Now, if you move further and look at the top gainers and the top losers in this week. Now, if you look at the top gainers in this week on the Nifty, if you see, if you look at the IT and pharma sector, both remain high gainer. They remain the top gainer in this week. The Sun Pharma, Lupin, Tech Mahindra, Dr. Reddy, Grasim Industry, HCL, Cipla, they were among the top gainers in this week. The Sun Pharma almost rose about more than 9% this week. It started at the 571 and closed at 623 rupees on Friday. Same was the case with the Lupin. It rose almost by 7%. It started around 822 and closed at 881. If you look at the Tech Mahindra rose almost by 6%. It started 646 and closed at 687 rupees in this week. Grasim Industry, which also had the quarterly results in this week, again rose by almost about 5%, and closed about 1045. And also HCL Tech and Cipla, they also both rose almost by 5%. The HCL closed almost 1003 rupees, and the Cipla closed almost about 646 rupees. Now, if you look at the top, these were the top gainers, and these, if you analyze the reason for them, that, like for example, the rupee, which was depreciating in this week, all the exporting companies immensely benefited from this event which happened. This happened in this week, that the rupee almost crossed 70 rupees first time in history. And these were the top gainers, and all the pharma companies and the IT companies, which are the largest exporter of the goods and services from the India, they were they were the top gainers in this week. Now, if you look at analyze the top losers in this week, they are majorly the oil company and the banks. They were the top losers in this week. Now, if you analyze the like for example, IOCL, BPCL, HPCL, ONGC, they were among the top losers on the Nifty, and also Vedanta, Indiabull Housing Finance, SBI, Kotak Mahindra, HDFC. They were also among the top losers. The Vedanta, which is a mining company, as you all are aware about it, it fell almost by 7%, 6.68%. The stock closed almost by 215. It closed. Indiabull Housing Finance, which closed almost about by 1266, and fell. There was a fell of almost 6% in the stock in this week. SBI, HPCL, they almost lost their share price almost by 5%. ONGC, IOCL, BPCL, they were almost in the range of 3 to 4% fall was there in the share in this week. Also, Kotak Mahindra Bank also lost its share almost by a very minimum amount, almost by 1%. So, if you analyze the top gainer and top losers in this week, where, like for example, the top losers were the oil company and the banks, and among the top gainers were the pharma companies, and also the IT companies were the top gainers, because we have seen that because it happened mainly because of the fall of the rupee was depreciating, and the exporting company benefited immensely from this phenomena, and the importing company actually they suffered a lot, and their share prices almost fell by more than Vedanta, which is a mining company, as you are aware, that fell almost by 7%. And again, the Vedanta, IOCL, all the oil companies, IOCL, BPCL, HPCL, their share prices fell by significant amount. Now, if you analyze in terms of, for example, the corporate, the institutional buying and selling, which happened in this week. Now, if you analyze the foreign institutional investors till date in the month have remained as a net purchaser of the equity in the Indian market. They stand almost about 2,408 crore rupees of the buying of the Indian equities has happened from the foreign institutional investors. And also, if you see, they have invested also immensely in the debt market. In the debt market, they have invested almost about 5,168 crores. So, if you analyze, there is a more emphasis, more importance is given to the debt market as compared to the equity market. And the equity market, the net purchaser, they have remained as a net purchaser throughout the till date in the month, almost about 2,400 crore, and in the debt market, they have remained as a net purchaser of more than 5,000 crores. And now, also, if you analyze the domestic institutional investors, now same is the case scenario. The domestic institutional investors also have remained as a net purchaser of the Indian equities, with the almost investing amount of 155 crore, as compared to also if you see the portion of the investment which happened in the debt market is almost in the range of 6,890 crore. So, if you look at the overall scenario of the institutional players in the market, so both foreign and domestic institutional investors have remained quite positive on the debt market as compared to the equity market. And we see they are going to remain very positive on the debt market, because if you see the global scenario which is happening in the market, all the central banks and the US Federal Reserve is rising the rates continuously. And as per the market prediction, there will be more market rate hike in the future, coming in the future meeting of the Federal Reserve. Same is expected with the Reserve Bank of India and across the central banks across the globe. So they, if you see that the institutional investors will remain quite positive on the debt market as compared to the equity market. So there is more investment which is going in the debt market as compared to the equity. So equity for the time being, for the few time till I believe till this year will remain quite stagnant. But if you see the institutional investors are very much confident on the debt market. Now, if we move toward the results which were declared this week, if you analyze the results which were declared this week among the companies, the top results were declared from the Sierra Silk, the Grasim Industry, Cox and Kings, NLC India, Fortis Healthcare, and the Oil India. Now, if you see, look at the result of these companies, the Sierra, which has reported almost decline in its net profit by 4.25%. As if you compare to the last year, they reported the profit of 10.35 crore, but this year they have reported their net profit in this particular quarter almost by 9.91 crore. Now, if you analyze the another company which will declare the result is the Cox and King. If you know aware about the Cox and King, is one of the largest travel company, travel leisure company in India, founded almost about 100 years ago. Now, if you analyze the Cox and King again reported almost the loss of almost the net profit by 34% as compared to the last year. The net profit of the Cox and King was almost about 136 crore as compared to 210 crore in the same quarter in the last year. But the company's revenue increased. The company is quite confident on the future prospect of the revenue which will be generated in the market, in the coming market. Now, if you see, the company is quite confident that they are planning to get more and more outbound travel assignment from the corporate, and they are very much confident that they will achieve almost a 15% growth in the outbound market. That's the international tours and travel. Now, also the next company, which is important company, which reported its results in this week, quarterly result, was the Grasim Industry, which reported almost 12% net profit increase in the net profit this week. Now, the Grasim Industry reported almost 12% profit this week. If you know, the Grasim is one of the flagship companies of the Aditya Birla Group, which they have. They have the several companies in the Hindalco, Grasim, and so on and so forth. Now, same if you analyze, the Grasim Industry reported 12% rise in the net profit as compared to last year, because of the strong prediction, strong growth, strong demand in the market. They have reported strong export market as well. Now, next company, important company which reported its result in this week was NLC. That absorbed the NLC reported the profit of almost about increase in the net profit by 1.1% reported, and but also reported the decline in the revenue. Now, the Fortis Healthcare reported the loss of almost about 53 crores in this quarter. That's a company which is into healthcare segment and providing having the hospitals and the different financial products. Also, they are having the Fortis Healthcare. Now, next company which reported its result in this week was Oil India. Oil India reported the jump of almost 56% in the net profit, or to almost 7 billion Indian rupees as compared to 4.5 billion Indian rupees in the same quarter last year. So these were the important companies which reported their result in this week, like Sierra Silk, Cox and King, Grasim Industry, NLC India, Fortis Healthcare, and the Oil India. Now, if you let us move to the macro scenario which happened in this week. Now, if you see, the micro scenario which happened this week, the coin dominant news in this week was from the India and from the US and China. We all are aware there's a trade war going between the China and the USA. Both the parties are not willing to resolve, but at the end of this week, they have both the countries have decided that they are going, as per the report which is received from the Kudlow, Mr. Kudlow, the advisor to the government of the United States of America. He has said that both the countries are going to have the trade talks in the few coming days. And also, if you see that he has warned that the China should not take the warning from the US and United States of America as very, very lightly, so that it is very important that China should take it very seriously, that both the countries can resolve the talk on this week. Also, this week, which was on the top agenda, was the sanction from the Iran that's constantly hurting the India's sentiment, India's economy. Now, the people are very much concerned, as we have reported to you, that India is concerned. The sanction which is effective from the month of November, which stops the US allies from buying the oil from the national Iranian oil company and other oil company from the Iran, and doing any kind of financial transactions with the financial institutions in the Iran. That is very important that the US bans them. And if you know that India imports almost about 15% of its 10 to 15% of its oil requirement from the Iran. Now, if you see that there's a ban on the import of the Iranian oil will put pressure in the international market, because if you see the Iran per day supplies almost about 2.2 million barrels of the oil per day to the international market. This reduction in the supply will definitely cause increase in the price, and the price, if even it increased by $10 per barrel, that will have a huge impact on the Indian current account deficit. Indian current account deficit may, with the increase of $10 per barrel, will cause the current account deficit to increase almost by 50.5%, and it will also hurt the inflation data. The inflation will increase almost by 25%. Now, if you see, this is a really concern for the India that the US has put the sanction on the Iran. The next agenda which was there on the international market was a trade war, the dispute between the trade war happening between the US and the Turkey. Now, if you see the US and Turkey, the trade war is happening. The US has put if you know, the lira, the Turkish currency declined almost by 35% since July, and this week it slipped to a very to almost about 7 lira to $1. That caused the havoc in the market, and that also caused the emerging currencies to slip against the dollar that we saw. And this happened because, if you are aware, that the Turkey has held one of its spy of the United States of America, has one of its person of the United States of America in its custody, and is not releasing for last one and a half years. The Turkey claims him to be a spy, whereas America is saying that he is not a spy, and in retaliation, in against that, the United States of America has put the additional tariff of 20 and 50% on the import of the aluminum and oil from the Turkey. That has caused, and in against that, the Turkey has threatened the United States of America to put the ban on the import of the electronic goods from the America. So this was happening between the United States of America and Turkey in this week. That also, if you see the expectation now, also across the globe, if you see that all the major banks, central banks, and the market is expecting the rate hike from all the central banks across the globe, and this rate hike across the central banks across the world will definitely cause the funds to be more and more costlier, and will take the funds from the emerging market to again back to the United States of America. So you will, in the coming months, you may see that the outflow of the funds from the emerging markets, and the funds will the decline in the revenue of the corporate because of the expensive funding which will happen in the market. So these were almost about this week. We have seen that how the Nifty and the Sensex performed. We saw about the which top gainers and the top losers of this week. We saw about the sentiment and the investment from the foreign institutional investors and domestic institutional investors, and also we saw about the results which were reported from the corporate segments in this week on the Bombay Stock Exchange and the next stock exchange. Also, we saw the macro scenario prevailing in the market across the globe about the tension between the US and the China, US and Turkey, and the ban on the sanction on the Iran. That's what we are seeing. That's what all is from the market this week. I hope you enjoyed our brief on market bites. Kindly do keep on connecting with us in the future. In the future, we keep on coming with such kind of videos in the future, and will report you on the market happening every week sharp at 9 p.m. On the live on the YouTube. Thank you for watching. Thank you once again. Thank you, and kindly do subscribe to our channel. Do subscribe to our channel NTA Finance and Technology on the link on the subscribe button given below. Thank you. We hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Thank you once again for watching. Thank you once again.